Hello, my name is James Lauritzen. Today is February 18th, 2024. I am here to cover an IT project management benefit proposal for Gap Incorporated and how they can benefit from the retail market space. Covering quickly the agenda that I'm going to go over today, we will be taking a look at an IT project management from a high level and what that means for the delivery of the proposed project. First, we're looking at project management skills and leadership skills and how that benefits the overall product that is produced for the Gap and their various subsidies as a whole. The product selection process, initiation and requirements, how are we going to get the project started, how we kick it off, and how we define the boundaries of the project. Project integration and change management. How does project integration and adoption of the scope of work affect progress throughout the company? And once the scope of work has been adopted and the changes have been identified, what are the implications? Project scheduling. How does the Gap know that we're on schedule, or even what the schedule looks like? How is the overall deliverable schedule developed? These will be questions that we delve into as we progress, and then wrapping up with some lessons learned that I wanted to share with the team as I took on this project, learning about the Gap's complex IT infrastructure and systems and perhaps how we can move forward. One of the main benefits to having an IT project manager is understanding budget, scope, and schedule, and how these impact the Gap's various deliverables as we work together as a team to modernize your overarching IT infrastructure and systems. At the end of this process, you need to remain profitable. We do this by first understanding what are the needs of the organization. What do your current IT systems do for you today, and how can we improve on those systems? We need to be able to improve so that we can not only deliver to your specifications, but that we meet your expectations. How do we do this? This is accomplished first by developing relationships with the appropriate internal stakeholders to establish goals and milestones for delivery of your IT projects and planned store and corporate expansions. We will talk about this process a little bit more in depth later, but we will create an agreed upon scope of work that allows us to deliver a full project to you. Some of the key contributing factors to this are continuous communications out to all of the appropriate stakeholders. This is as we approach and achieve specific milestones, communicating out any risks as we approach any specific risks that have been identified, letting our fellow stakeholders know of defined dependencies, and of course making sure that all of this is properly documented so that any stakeholder can understand the project's progression. Project managers not only work to deploy a product and oversee a project, but they are there to lead the team and provide an added level of management to the team. Working with the Gap stakeholders, we will establish the best project teams with the needed accompanying technical, business, and leadership skills to accomplish our tasks. Taking in feedback from the team is one of the best methods that a project manager has in their tool belt to ensure that all aspects of the project are moving forward and that each team member is valued and productive. The scope of work should always be the focus of the project, but there are some things that do change as the project progresses. As we're going through those changes, we need to prepare for the change by clarifying objectives for the change. What is the reason for the change? Assess stakeholders' readiness for the change, obtain necessary resources, align executive sponsors if needed, conduct analysis to define the specific impact. When planning the change, develop any formal plans to integrate, and communications and training must be conducted as necessary. When managing the change, we need to make sure that we manage and implement, conduct the management and implementation of the change all the way through, and then reinforce and sustain the change. Sustain the change means that we collect feedback and measure the results. of the change to make sure that it had the desired effect. Look for any areas of improvement and seek for continuous improvement throughout. For project selection, initiation, and requirements gathering, this all starts with understanding the GAP's IT development space for their supporting IT systems. The GAP has a reputation for modern storefronts and will continue to lead in that space. One of the best ways to support that reputation is to make sure that the back-end IT infrastructure is in place and to support each store and corporate location. Why would the GAP look at taking on this project? The biggest reasons for modernizing in the retail space are going to be cost cutting, revenue maintenance, and revenue enhancement. Things like modernizing the transaction processing systems, telecommunication systems, etc., will all lead to a more revenue stable platform. With the dynamic nature of the IT industry, the need to move quickly on any project is critical in order to make sure that we realize the maximum return on investment. Project selection is based on the needs of the GAP and with help develop the business case for a modernized IT infrastructure. As we spoke about briefly, we are able to take the business needs that the GAP may have to developing a more stable revenue platform through their IT infrastructure, and we can decompose these into specific requirements. This is accomplished with specific stakeholders within the organization that may already have specific domain knowledge or use case knowledge. These requirement meetings with stakeholders are only part of the solution. We will also conduct proper document analysis to determine what has historically worked with the GAP Inc. and what can fundamentally improve on deployments within your environment. After going through this rigorous requirements gathering phase of the project, we are able to produce a schedule that is able to be disseminated to the team and stakeholders. Part of the schedule development is creation of a work breakdown structure. This will include the large milestones of the project and should also shed light on resources for the project. This is information that all the team members need to be aware of, but is critical for the GAP to have as it provides a graphical realization of the project. It allows for clear understanding of potential risks and how they're going to be managed, the available resources to the team, and the task and team management distribution. As we get to this point, we're looking at conducting and scheduling a kickoff call with all of the available stakeholders, providing a roadmap for the project, and providing our first milestones to be achieved. As delving into this project, some of the things that we wanted to share with you about that were learned that we could pass along were the gaining a full understanding of the totality of the market requirements for a complex IT deployment for something as complex as the GAP's infrastructure. Understanding that multiple vendors will be required in order to deliver on scale on time, and we will need to do this at a cost that is acceptable to all parties to remain within budget. Project delivery must go beyond initial success of a turn-up service. The product needs to be something that can be sustained and useful for GAP for the foreseeable future. Overall, I wanted to spend some time and say thank you for your time. Some additional references that were used in order to make sure that this was a viable production, and thank you for your time and have a great day.